Tonight, gather round as we journey to a windswept coast, to a place where the waves tell a story of love, loss, and a light that never truly went out. This is the tale of the lighthouse keeper and his eternal love. Imagine a solitary lighthouse, a stone sentinel standing defiant against the fury of the sea. For years, its light was the work of one man, a keeper named Thomas. He wasn't always alone. He had shared this rugged paradise with his beloved Elara. She was a woman born of the sea, with eyes the color of the deep ocean and a laugh that could calm the wildest storm. They lived a simple, beautiful life, their love as constant as the tides. Thomas tended the light, and Elara painted the shifting moods of the sea, her canvases filled with crashing waves and serene sunsets. Their world was this tower, this coast, and each other. But the sea, which had given Elara her spirit, was a jealous lover. One autumn, a storm of unprecedented fury descended upon the coast. It wasn't like the usual squalls they had weathered together. This was a monster, a leviathan of wind and water. Elara had been caught on the shore, collecting shells as the storm rolled in faster than anyone predicted. Thomas, from the top of the lighthouse, watched in horror as a colossal wave, a wall of dark, churning water, rose from the deep and swept her away. He screamed her name into the howling wind, but his voice was swallowed by the tempest. The storm passed, leaving a scarred landscape and a broken man. Thomas searched for days, his hope dwindling with each setting sun. He found only a fragment of her shawl, snagged on a piece of driftwood. The sea had claimed his love, and in its place left an ocean of grief. From that day on, Thomas was a changed man. His eyes, once full of light, now held the same stormy gray as the winter sea. He continued his duty, keeping the lamp lit, but it was no longer just a beacon for sailors. It was a vigil, a desperate, hopeful light cast out into the darkness, searching for the love he had lost. He believed that one day its beam would guide Elara's spirit back home to him. Years turned into decades. Thomas grew old within the stone walls of the lighthouse. His hair turned as white as the sea foam, and his back bent like the windswept trees on the cliffside. The locals in the nearby village would see his solitary figure, a ghost before his time, forever gazing out at the horizon. They said he never spoke of her, but he didn't have to. His sorrow was a palpable thing, a heavy mist that clung to the lighthouse even on the sunniest days. He polished the great lens until it shone like a diamond, tended the flame with a devotion that bordered on obsession. The light was his purpose, his penance, his last, lingering conversation with her. One winter night, another great storm raged. The villagers worried for the old keeper, alone in his tower. When the morning came, the sea was calm, but the lighthouse lamp was dark. It had never been dark before. A group of fishermen rowed out to the lighthouse, their hearts heavy with foreboding. They found Thomas in the lantern room. He was sitting in his chair, facing the sea, a peaceful smile on his weathered face. He had passed away in the night, his vigil finally over. His journey was complete. The lighthouse was automated after that. A new electric light was installed, one that required no keeper, no tender hand, no watchful eye. The tower stood empty, a monument to a bygone era and a forgotten love story. But then, something strange began to happen. On the stormiest of nights, when the official electric light would flicker and fail, sailors far out at sea would report seeing another light. A warm, golden glow, like an old oil lamp, emanating from the top of the abandoned lighthouse, cutting through the rain and fog, guiding them safely to shore. The locals knew. They knew it was Thomas, still at his post, his spirit bound to the tower, refusing to let his light go out. They said he was still waiting, still searching for Elara, but he wasn't alone in his ghostly watch. Fishermen casting their nets near the rocks could hear things on the wind. On quiet nights, when the air was still, they'd hear a faint, ethereal whisper, a woman's voice carried on the breeze, sighing a single name, Thomas. Others, walking the coastal path at dusk, would claim to see two figures, shimmering and translucent, standing together on the high balcony of the lighthouse. A tall man and a woman with flowing hair, their forms indistinct, their hands clasped, looking not out at the sea, but at each other. It seemed Elara's spirit had never been lost to the waves. She had simply been waiting, held by the sea until her keeper could join her. She had returned not to the land, but to the light and to him. Their love, forged in the heart of the ocean, had become a part of the landscape itself. It endured through the passing of seasons and the crashing of storms. The lighthouse was no longer a symbol of loss, but a testament to a love that transcended time, a love that even death could not part. The two souls, once separated by the cruel sea, were now eternally united, their spirits entwined with the wind and the waves. So if you ever find yourself on a stormy coast and you see a lone lighthouse standing against the Giel, listen closely. Listen past the roar of the waves and the howl of the wind. You might just hear a whisper of a name. And if you look up at the lantern room, you might see a faint, ghostly glow. Don't be afraid. It's just the lighthouse keeper, keeping his light burning, not for the ships, but for his eternal love, who stands beside him, finally home. Their sea-bound romance continues, a timeless story told by the ocean, a perfect tale for a quiet night, a lullaby of love and light to soothe you into a peaceful sleep. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey tonight. If you enjoyed this story, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel for more tales from the edge of the world. Sweet dreams.